Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your June 2021 mid-month general reading. We are looking at the last 2 weeks of June, and this reading is for the water sign of Scorpio. Welcome everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Thanks for being here, for watching this video, any of the videos actually. Your likes, your shares, hitting that subscribe button, your donations, comments, feedback. Those of you who reach out for personal readings, thank you so much for your support. So this reading is for the water sign of Scorpio for the last 2 weeks of June. That is if your sun, moon, rising, or Venus sign is in Scorpio. It's also relevant if you're cross-watching for a Scorpio. It's a general reading, so of course in the specifics it's always going to resonate a little differently with everyone. So watch all of your signs if you know them for additional insight, points of view, and perspective, which can be helpful. If you find that any of the readings do resonate with you enough that you'd like to reach out for a personal reading, maybe take a deeper look at something for yourself or as a gift for someone else, click on the description link below, that little arrow. You'll see some contact details, my email address, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to hear from you. I do offer a wide variety of readings in all areas of life. And I do readings full-time, so I'm pretty diligent about scheduling in a timely fashion as well. I'd be happy to hear from you. Email me if you'd like. Okay, Scorpio. Let's see what the last 2 weeks of June have in store for you. I am using the Tarot of Dreams and clarifying with the Radiant Rider-Waite. We begin with feeling trapped. We begin with the Eight of Swords. Remember, the Eight of Swords is the Eight of Air, which is mental energy. So the only thing that's making you feel trapped is the idea that you keep telling yourself based on whatever that you can't free yourself from a situation. The Four of Swords, feeling exhausted about feeling trapped, feeling tired of feeling like you just can't make any changes. The Two of Coins, duality, crossroads, choices. Which path do I choose? The Emperor, being in control of everything, being on top of everything, being responsible for everything. Maybe the weight of the world or whatever the situation is on your shoulder. And it's interesting because the Emperor is next to the Four of Swords, which is a card of withdrawal, so you can recover and recuperate because you're tired. Faith, in other decks known as the Hierophant. Here, more of a literal, symbolic aspect of faith itself. The ideology of faith. With the Ace of Swords, seeing something in the absolute reality for what it is. Which can sometimes be difficult. The Ace of Swords can represent success as all the aces can. They're extraordinary good fortune, lucky cards. The Ace of Swords, they also represent the number one, a new start, a new beginning, a new opportunity. The Ace of Swords, the Ace of Air. The success part can come from seeing something in the absolute reality for what it is, a new perspective, a new idea, what something actually is rather than what you're telling yourself or anything like that if it's not a new idea. Sometimes seeing the truth of what something actually is rather than what we've been telling ourselves can be difficult. Having that light bulb go off over our head. But in that energetic space, we also have the opportunity to make choices to create a healthier or better reality for ourselves, or do something in a different, new, or better way based on how we see it. Oh, I get it now, right? I see it, right? Having faith in that. From the bottom of the deck, the overall focus and energy is the Seven of Swords, so something being concealed, doing something behind the scenes or concealment. I'll pull one more, the Five of Wands, conflict, internal conflict, perhaps external conflict, perhaps arguing about the same thing over and over again, although it's with the Seven of Swords, which is something being concealed. I feel like that's your energy, Scorpio. You're having a lot of conflict going on and you're not talking about it. Let's clarify this Seven of Swords and Five of Wands. Could be that you're thinking about making plans or thinking about making plans or making a decision to maybe leave or withdraw. The Page of Swords and the Six of Swords is clarifying the Seven of Swords and the Five of Wands. Lots of swords here, so a real thinking sort of time period the last 2 weeks of June. Six of Swords is a card of healing. Healing by leaving the source of challenge and conflict, moving away from it, being in process of healing. But the healing means that you're leaving behind the choppy, muddy, turbulent waters, i.e. whatever the conflict is, and moving to a place of calmer waters. You're not quite to the other shore and on solid ground yet, but you're definitely moving towards it. And you can see land in sight here. The Page of Swords, the messenger, literally the messenger, the page of air, the page of information. So that's what's being concealed. It's like not knowing. Gosh, I'm really feeling this kind of sense of heaviness here, Scorpio. I don't know if, like your sister signs Cancer and Pisces, if this is about a relationship, but there's a situation that you desperately want healing in or healing from. You're not talking about it, perhaps because you can't talk about it, or maybe you've talked about it a million times and nothing ever changed, so you just don't anymore. Perhaps you're making plans or thinking about making plans to leave. Feeling trapped here, the Four of Swords and the Eight of Swords. Feeling trapped and helpless, unable to change the situation, unable to leave the situation, although you can. That's just what we tell ourselves. I can't because of this. I can't because of that. I'm not saying that it would be easy, but only that you can. And the Four of Swords is a card of withdrawal for recovery and recuperation. Exhausted, tired of feeling like nothing can change and feeling trapped, and you want things to get better. You want to just get out. Clarify the Two of Coins and the Emperor. The Emperor's making a choice. Whoa, that popped out really fast there. Emperor is clarified by the Eight of Cups. Okay. So this is where the Emperor abdicates his throne, and that's what you're trying to make a decision about. So we have the Two of Cups being at a crossroads, needing to make a decision, maybe going back and forth between two things. Do I, don't I? Trying to juggle everything. The Emperor, who has a huge job, needs to be disciplined and in control and balanced and always set aside his own personal needs and wants for the greater good, you know, a huge responsibility. But the Eight of Cups is where the Emperor is considering abdicating. He can't quit. You can't quit when you're like the king or the emperor. You literally have to abdicate. You know, leave your throne, go away. You're thinking of leaving this, leaving your responsibilities, leaving, just getting out of Dodge because you feel trapped. It might be for some of you that it might not be like, you know, everything's not always love and romance, right? In fact, a lot not. That's just one aspect of life here. The Emperor is the one in charge, so it could be that you're tired of being in a leadership position of some kind, whether it's in a personal relationship, whether it's in a family, whether it's at work, whether it's just, you know, maybe you're in charge of too many things, maybe you've overbooked yourself, maybe that's what you tend to do. Feeling tired of, you know, regardless of the specifics of your situation, Scorpio, this is like really feeling trapped and tired of being in charge of so much, of having all the responsibility. You're definitely thinking about stepping down, fantasizing even about it, but not talking about it. Having faith in a new reality, a new perspective. Clarify the Ace of Swords. Struggling to have faith in the light of seeing something for what it actually is. The Five of Wands, again, lots of conflict, internal conflict, push and pull. The Five of Cups, realizing what isn't there and lost. The Nine of Wands, the Ten of Wands, needing something to come to an end and feeling discouraged because it's such a heavy burden. Yeah, that's primarily the message here, Scorpio. Whatever this Emperor card represents for you, it's somebody who has the weight of the world on their shoulder because they're in charge, right? Whether this is at work, a group, too many projects, a true leadership position, whether it's being in a love and romance relationship where just everything, you're responsible for everything. You're the one doing everything or keeping everything together, right? There's a real sense of exhaustion and feeling trapped by your obligations and responsibilities here. Not talking about them. I can understand not talking about them. One, maybe you've talked about them a lot and nothing's changed. Nobody's helping shoulder this. Maybe, maybe it's a family situation where you're morally obligated to care for family or children or something, and you're just, in a burnout. It could be that. But here it looks like somebody's seriously thinking of stepping down from that responsibility, fantasizing about it, but yet still feeling trapped and bound at the same time, and trying to have faith in light of, that it feels like it's such a heavy burden. For some of you, this is nothing more than, and I don't mean to trivialize it by saying nothing more, but for some of you, you're just going through a burnout phase with something, and maybe you do need to take some time off to kind of recoup and recover so that you can come back at it with a fresh perspective. Some of you, it might be that. Some of you, it might be that, it's not necessarily a family thing, that it's, you have too many responsibilities, or you've been the responsible one for too long and it's literally time for you to step down. You're just trying to figure out how to do that because you feel kind of bound to whatever it is you're bound to. And you have to get a break. Some of you, it might be a situation that you literally need to leave because you don't want to be the emperor forever, and it feels sometimes like you're going to be the emperor for forever. And we all go through this, right? Let's pull some final messages, guidance, and advice for Scorpio. Guidance, advice, feedback for Scorpio for the last 2 weeks of June. I mean, there's discouragement here. It doesn't feel hopeless as much as it just feels tired. I'm exhausted. It feels like even the air is heavy to breathe, just kind of channeling this. Like I keep wanting to sigh. I would never want to be the emperor. But sometimes you're in a position where you have to be, right? I've raised kids. I have grandkids. There are times, especially if you're doing it as a single parent, or, your partner's not there a lot or whatever, it can feel like sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I've got the whole world on my shoulders and I'm so tired. Final messages, guidance, advice, Scorpio. The High Priestess, this is having an intuitive sense of knowing about something. The Devil, yeah. There's imbalance here. There's toxic energy. I mean, the Emperor can be a very positive card. We need our emperors, we need our presidents, we need leaders and people in charge. But the Devil is too much. It's enslavement through temptation, enslavement through the thing that you think you have to have or need to do. You can even be enslaved to your sense of moral responsibility to the point that devoting yourself and caring doesn't mean that you take yourself to the breaking point and burn out because of it. So there's some kind of too much obsessive, toxic energy here, and it's unhealthy. You either need to step away or down from this, or get a break and figure out how to bring other elements and other people in, perhaps, to help balance this out in some way. The Fool, yeah, stepping off the beaten path, starting off a brand new journey, doing something different than you've done it before. It could also represent literally taking a trip, getting out of Dodge for a while, and trusting that God has your back. So this is about doing things in a different way, which the Emperor is not all that good at because he's got his own way. Everything needs to run a certain way so that there isn't chaos. I think the Emperor needs, depending on what your situation is, needs a vacation, and during that vacation you need to figure out how you can bring other forms of help and resources to balance it out. Or if it's a truly toxic, unhealthy situation at its heart, you should think seriously about removing yourself from it and doing something different. At the very least, Scorpio, it looks like you need a serious break, like seriously need a break. Okay, Scorpio, those are your messages for the last 2 weeks of June. That was an interesting read. I hope that it was helpful for you. I hope that it brought perhaps some perspective, some clarity, or some food for thought. Again, if it resonated with you, you'd like to reach out for a personal reading, email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to hear from you. You can also get that contact detail by clicking on the description link below. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the July general readings. Until then, stay safe and well. I wish you many blessings, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.